I'm Jason, the world is yours, and this is how to find a golden skull in Warzone 2 DMZ mode. DMZ players are being asked to find a golden skull in Warzone 2 DMZ mode season 3. It's like Modern Warfare Warzone 2, the longest title of all time. So here's where you can find this extremely rare item. Warzone 2 season 3 brings the new deal maker mission to DMZ, which tasks players with finding a rare golden skull somewhere on the map. Here's how to get a golden skull in Warzone 2 DMZ. Warzone 2 Season 3 brought a ton of new content to the Battle Royale player, but the ever popular DMZ mode has received its fair share of new additions. Fans of the Tarko inspired mode saw the arrival of the skeleton keys as well as the new barter system. The seasonal update also introduced the new redacted faction along with a host of missions to complete for them. The Tier 1 Deer Maker mission asks players to deliver a number of different items, including a extremely ultra rare golden skull. Here's how to get a golden skull in Warzone 2 DMZ mode and take off this challenging mission. Where to find the golden skulls in DMZ. There is no guaranteed location. That's very important to find a golden skull in Warzone 2 DMZ mode. Instead, players will have to, quote, hope to find one when searching for loot. That's just, come on, DMZ, come on. Unlike other key items in DMZ mode, there is no way to craft a golden skull either. So there's plenty of luck involved. Oh, come on. That being said, there are a number of places and methods with significantly better odds of finding a golden skull. Check them out below. Defeat bosses. Killing bosses is extremely tough, but it's a great way to earn extremely rare loot, including golden skulls in the DMZ mode. DMZ many bosses such as the scavenger, ball maker, and the pyro. I think those are all the bosses. Drop much rarer loot than regular enemies. This is very important, meaning the chances of a golden skull dropping are far higher. Simply track one down, one of the bosses, whittle down their huge health bar. I don't think I've ever seen a health bar, and keep your fingers crossed. Wow. While this is arguably the best chance of earning a golden skull, it's also one of the toughest, as these powerful enemies can quickly take out your squad if you are not prepared. Sawa Hotel rooms 203, 302 and 303 are full of loot. If you rather not change your chances against a boss, the Sawa Hotel have great odds of containing a golden skull. Rooms 302 and rooms 303 on the top floor are full of loot. However, you'll need a skeleton key to enter, so so be sure to craft one beforehand. Is that true? You can't get into those rooms anymore? Again, there's no guarantee that a golden skull will spawn among these items in either room, but if luck it isn't on your side, there's always an option to exfil and try again in a different match. Police stations. That's interesting. I haven't been to many police stations. Police stations also have better odds of golden skulls spawning. I don't think I've even seen, I've probably walked in one and not realized it. But yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for police. I pay attention to hospitals, but I've probably been in a few police stations. I haven't noticed anything extra. One of the other locations in Al Majra likely to hold a golden skull are the police stations, and there are different spots to check out around the map. Check out below the shopping center, northwest section of Al Majra city, and the marshlands. It's worth keeping in mind that the police stations are strongholds. Okay, maybe that's why I haven't been to too many in Warzone 2 DMZ. So you'll be met with plenty of resistance from AI enemies. However, once clear, they are an ideal spot to hunt down golden skulls. That was everything. Okay, Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. So I'm gonna go over just quick. Strongholds, I have noticed that strongholds, they're not as difficult as some people make them out to be. They really aren't. It seems like strongholds are kind of like a hostage situation where there's like maybe one or two riot shield armored guards, maybe three AI tier three soldiers. But I mean, you take them out in strongholds, they're not as bad as they seem. I think people are like completely afraid of strongholds, but the strongholds are not as bad as they seem. There are some strongholds that are very different. There's one stronghold I went to where it's like kind of underground, and that area was kind of worrisome. But for the most part, any building you go into that's a stronghold, don't be afraid of strongholds. They're not as bad as they seem. I don't know if they have been nerfed recently. It feels like they've been nerfed because I felt like when I first went into strongholds, I'd be taken down quickly. But now they seem like they're not as bad as they were a few weeks ago. But I do want to mention I've noticed a lot of booby traps with strongholds recently. So before you run up those steps, be sure to disarm the booby traps. I've been knocked more than a few times running in for hostage situations, running in for strongholds, and when as soon as you try to go up those steps, you get knocked by a booby trap. So I do want to mention that. I have noticed that recently. I think booby traps have been nerfed. Not nerfed. I mean, booby traps have been buffed. They've actually, I feel like they've been buffed, where they are a lot more places on steps that you have to pay attention to. As far as police stations, like I said, I haven't been to too many police stations, but I haven't noticed anything extra rare about police stations. But I'm gonna have to keep in mind about the police stations now. Room 302 and room 303. I don't think I've ever been in this area or not in these rooms. I have noticed, I've seen some gameplay of these rooms. I don't think I've seen too many golden skulls. Maybe one or two golden skulls. And as far as loot, but at the end of the day, if you want a golden skull, go for the bosses, right? It seems like I've noticed, playing Warzone 2 DMZ mode, that a lot of people, they seem to go for the train. It's like that's like the biggest, probably the best place for loot. I mean, you're not gonna find a golden skull. You're not gonna find a GPU. You're probably not gonna find gold bars or things like that, but you're gonna find weapons and armor. So trains and the suitcase, the weapons case, which everyone goes for. But it does seem like people are forgetting about bosses. Maybe bosses are completely overpowered. Maybe there's a lot of solo players who can't take out bosses. But I've been recently noticing, I've been trying to get my teammates to run with me, even though I play with randoms most of the time. I've been trying to get my teammates to run with me to take on more bosses. I think in the next 2 months, I'm going to try to go for a lot more bosses every round, you know. Every time I go into the DMZ, look for a boss and try to find at least one boss. But also, it's not easy finding the bosses. Some of them are in like really hard to get to place locations. That's probably the biggest problem. If I feel like from all the bosses I've seen, I don't know what the bomb maker is. I've seen the scavenger real quick, but the scavenger I think runs away from us for the most part. Right, the scavenger just runs and tries to find what are the operators, players who have died, and they just pick up their tags. But the scavenger is not looking for you, so you don't have to worry about the scavenger. I don't know who the bomb maker is, but I have seen the pyro. I think this is the pyro right here, right? The maybe this is the pyro, but I know I've seen the pyro. I have defeated the pyro once with some teammates. The last 3 times we run across the pyro, we've been completely wiped out. It wasn't even close. But we have dropped and knocked out the pyro once. I think there was a golden skull with that knock when we took out the pyro boss. So if you are looking for a golden skull, I would recommend going for the bosses, right? Like if you're like, hey, this exfil, this mission right here, the main only thing I want to get is a golden skull. Go for the pyro, go for the palm maker, go for the scavenger. That would be my best advice as far as like finding a golden skull. But let me know your opinion of this story. Have you found golden skulls as like loot, or have you found golden skulls as like loot from bosses you've defeated. I'm Jason, the world is yours. Today we had a story on how to get a golden skull in Warzone 2 DMZ mode. Call of Duty Warzone 2 Modern Warfare DMZ mode. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.